Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 12 of Studio Time with Ryos. In today's video, I'm going to be making a progressive house track of some sort. I had this melody that I made a while back that I just recently came across again, and I think it can make for a great idea. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, y'all, so NFL Studio now. Here's the melody that I'm talking about that I think can make for a cool idea. I think this is a pretty strong melody, and funny enough, I was just going about my days listening to some music, and this melody actually came up in my head, and it took me a while to realize that I actually made this melody. So I'm like, damn, okay, that's probably a good sign to go ahead and try to build something off of it. So here's my idea. My idea is to have, obviously, this melody in the drop, and then to sort of open up the track with a, emotional piano sound that's also playing this melody. We'll try hybrid keys, see if we can get anything cool in here. All right, this one's called Emotional Piano, and I think it sounds pretty good. So I'm thinking to go along with this piano, we really only need a texture of some sort, and then maybe like a nice ambient drone to go in the background as well. So for the texture, I'm going to go to Cashmere's new pack. I know he's got a bunch in here. I actually think I want to take a more authentic approach, so I'm going to use Keyscape for that. And I'm going to mess around with the velocities and the timings of the notes just to make it sound a bit more organic, because the other piano that I had was like a little too EDM-y or like too housey, and that's not the route I want to go. Okay, so let's try bringing all of these velocities down a good amount here. And then we could try messing with the timing. Literally, whenever I do this, I just do it randomly. So move this note here. Maybe the top one will move back to the beginning. Okay, yeah, that already sounds a little bit better to me. And then the top melody could be completely quantized. I don't really care about that. I'm going to turn off the pedal noise and the release noise. And let's add some compression here. Let's try adding a reverb now. We'll go back to vintage verb again. The piano is pretty muddy. I'm going to try to use a multiband instead of an EQ first. Now I just want to EQ this quickly and then we'll move on. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Okay, great. Sounding a lot less muddy. To top it off, I want to add an echo boy. I like this sound better now. Let's try bringing in the texture. The texture, I don't want it to be so noisy. I want it to have more of like a mid-range frequency thing. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Wait, New York streets? That's my backyard. I might have to use this. Yeah, this makes it feel really cinematic. I like this. Okay, so I don't want to get caught in the gauntlet today. I want to make sure that I'm being efficient. So let's go ahead and add a instance of arcade. Wait, I like this one. Perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, cool. The thing is, though, this is a little too present. I want it to be a lot more subtle. So that's simple. We can just use Simplon to filter it out a bit. And then we'll add a lot of reverb to this as well. And we'll throw on some OTT. All right, so I like this a lot so far. This is definitely a vibe. I want to go ahead and start working on a drop right away. I'm going to just get a kick in here quick. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of inspired by like the older style progressive. I say older, but you know, the 2014, 2015 style where it was just a little bit more chord dominant. So that's going to be the approach I take today. All right, so let's kick things off with Silent. This is a really nice chord patch. Let's get another layer in there. Maybe something more Supersaw-esque. Let's see. Cool. All right, so that's a great start. I want to go ahead and try getting a more analog sound in there now. That works well. Now let's try a pad to round this off. All right, so this is a pretty good start for the chords. We'll obviously figure out what else we need to add. I want to go ahead and start getting some bass sounds in now. This might make for a good layer. And then we're going to need a more mid-range heavy layer to go along with this one. That is aggressive. All right, nice. Now let's get the sub in. Here we go, relatively simple sub. This should work well. All right, let's bring in the chords now. Let's see how they match up. All right, the chords definitely need a multi-band or some sort in the mid-range. Let me get some rides going down this drop. Cool, cool, cool. I want to EQ out this harsh range that I'm hearing in the chords. There's like one resonant frequency. Get rid of this guy here. This guy sucks. All right, so overall, this is a good direction so far. Let's keep it going. First off, with the bass, I'm hearing another layer that's more mid-range heavy. We're going to go to Spire. And I want it to be really aggressive and practically have no low mids or sub. Just really accentuate the mid-range here. All right, so before we move on, I want to add a flanger to this mid bass here. All right, y'all, so here's the deal. I was messing around with this for a little bit, and I've hit a brick wall with creativity. I have no idea where I want to take this, I'm going to be honest. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrap the idea of like all the bass and the chords that I already have, and I think I want to build around a lead idea. I think that's going to be better for me. So I want to go ahead and try to get that in first, and then we'll sort of see what fits. I have no idea. My brain is mush. Let's try to make this work. Let's try starting off with this lead. Let's get some pitch bending going. All right, that's a pretty good lead sound. I want to get in a heavy detuned lead with like a nice transient. Okay, so far so good. I'm thinking another heavily detuned lead layer. We're going to go to Spire for that. Okay, cool. These lead layers are starting to sound good. They do need a pluck layer of some sort, however. This is going to give it a little bit more character as well as pop and transient. So let's see what we can get going here. This is a really weird layer, but I kind of like it. It's kind of like a jungle flute layer thing. I don't know. We'll keep it for now. All right, so I actually think these are good leads to work off of. I'm going to add them to a group and then process them a bit. And then we'll move on to some of the other sounds. I'm thinking a few things, actually. So let's get a soothe in there. We'll get Supercharger. We'll get Valhalla Room. And then maybe H delay. And then we'll probably need like an EQ of some sort too. Supercharger will obviously just like compress these leads a bit more. Cool. Soothe is going to be to make it a little bit less harsh. I really like this harsh synth preset here for that. For the EQ, we're going to roll off some of the lows here. And then obviously we'll give it some reverb. And then just a little bit of ping pong with H delay. All right, cool. So that's a good starting point, guys. I think I want to move on to some of the other sounds. So we can bring in some of the sounds from earlier, see if these still hold up. Let me also put a kickstart in the lead group quick. I want to swap it out for a different bass here. This is more of like a classic sound in progressive house bass. Also for the H delay, I want to move this to a 1/4 rhythm here. So we can go ahead and bring the sub back in. I think this sub should do just fine. Okay, now the gallop bass. This is going to be really important. I think I'm going to do something different here. So let me see. I think this is not a bad starting point. However, I think I want to mess it up a lot and kind of process it differently. So let's try Isotope Trash. This is one of my favorite plugins to really mess up a sound quick. Yo, okay. All right, that sounds really sick. Now I heard two sounds that we can bring in. The main chords here that we had from earlier, that might sound good. They just need to be darkened. They're way too bright. And then also like a toy piano of some sort I'm hearing. So I think that might be a cool idea. We'll swap out the Rhodes for that toy piano. Let's see if we can get a sound like that in here. Maybe this, just down an octave. All right, so now let's focus on the main chords. They're just a little too bright for me. And we have a lot of low mid action going on with the bass, so we probably don't need that boost, and we could probably cut some of the lows out of this main chord. All right, guys, I actually switched out the pluck lead. It was previously this one, but I changed it to this one here. I think this sounds a lot better in the stack that I have right now. And also what I want to do fast is add a Noveltech character to the whole entire lead group. This is going to make the leads pop a little bit more, basically. All right, so the drop is sounding good. I do want to go ahead and clean up some of the low mids in this gallop bass. And then perhaps we'll accentuate the mid-range as well. Wait, what if we try adding the drone from the intro in this drop? That might give it more of like that atmosphere that I'm going for. All right, so the drone sounds really good. I am missing a little bit of body in this drop. We can solve that with some like warm chords or something. So first I want to try some basic saw chords that are just filtered. This alone might give us the warmth we need, so let's see. Oh, definitely, yeah. I'm curious, what if we just invert these two? So like... All right, so inverted, the warm chords sound better. So I've been messing around for the last few minutes trying to shape these sounds exactly how I want them to. I'll show you quickly. So with the EQ, one of them here, I moved the dips here closer to the lower end of the frequency spectrum, have this little dynamic band going on here. Equality, looks like this. Just really trying to shape these leads exactly how I want them. I do think I need some more layers though, because the way the drop is right now, it's not completely doing it for me. So I want to go ahead and try to get a bass guitar in there, and then maybe I'm going to do another lead layer in there as well. So first off, we're going to try just like a clean Fender for the bass guitar. Yeah, I definitely like the bass guitar instead of the warm bass. They occupy a similar range, so I don't need both. But yeah, the bass guitar just fits this drop better, I think. And then I can go ahead and get some effects in there. Yeah, so I'm not in love with this lead stack. I want to try to just add another lead layer to it instead of replacing the sounds that I currently have. So let's try Spire. Let's see if we can get some cool leads in here. So after I added that additional lead, I kind of just went rogue and I started making a bunch of tiny adjustments. I basically just made the sidechain on the chords and the bass heavier. I added this little crash effect. And then now we're in a pretty good spot. Holy shit, I forgot to lower that, my bad. So I don't know if there's anything else additionally that I need to add synth-wise. I think it might just be more drum work, stuff like that. I think this drop would benefit from hi-hats off the rip. Even tambourines would work. Maybe a hat as well. Okay, now wait, I want to try something quick. If I add a choir to this drop and then only make it play certain notes in the chords, that might sound cool. Let's try gospel worship. What the f? All right, let's try adding some processing to the sound because I think it's really cool actually. Let's try Bigifier. Let's give it some pulse. This might work. Now, what if we just try a different register? We'll do these top notes instead. Yeah, I think that sounds really good actually. And then for the halfway point in this drop, I'd like to get a snare fill. I can make one real quick. Doesn't have to be anything super crazy here. Now let's get some claps in the drop. And then also let's add some clap fills to this drop. Yeah, this fill works nice here. So one thing that this drop is missing that I think would make it sound better is some of these bad boys. Adding little sweeps like this helps make the drop feel like it's constantly moving or progressing. And then also perhaps an exhaust or a clap effects, something like that here. Yeah, like this could be perfect, so. And then for this halfway fill, I think I want to keep everything playing, to be honest. And maybe I'll just like high pass it. So something like this. All right, so for a first draft, I think the drop sounds really good. Let me go ahead. You guys know the drill. Make a quick build up just so that we can hear it in context. Definitely not going to go crazy here making this build up, but we will do it quick. Also just copying the texture over throughout this drop here. So let's bring in the drop synths here. We're going to filter them out. So let's start super low. And we're also going to turn off the sidechain here too. All right, so what we got to do is we got to open up this filter, and then as the filter opens up, we're going to decrease the resonance. We're going to go ahead and just automate the volume as well. We're also going to add an endless smile to the master. That way we can give the build-up that wash effect. And then we'll also high pass the build-up as well. All right, we can go ahead, add some build-up drums. All right, let's try some risers. We gotta get some impacts going. All right, so we got some risers, we got some impacts and stuff, all good. And then just for example's sake, I'm gonna add a respace to this build-up because, yeah, what is Studio Time with Ryos without a respace? But nah, in all seriousness, this build does need a bass. The drop basses don't sound good, and yeah, this is just a filler build anyway, so why not? The build bass actually needs to be high passed. So something like this. That's cool. Benji's in a super mushy mood right now. And then what else did I hear? Oh, an impact. I think another small riser here that starts when this impact hits. Benji. Let's add a big snare to put right before the drop, and then maybe at the halfway point, just, you know, just to fill it out a little bit more. Wait a minute. I was trying to get a new... Did you guys hear Benji? I was trying to get a new sweep in for the build-up, and this one here is cool kind of for like the pre-drop. The last thing that I need to get in here is just like a clean sweep for the build. All right, guys, I think that's it. Let's take a listen from the top, see what I came up with. So there you guys have it. Episode 12 is a wrap. Made some great emotional progressive house today, working off that melody that I previously made. And yeah, happy with how this one came out. I think if I wanted to release it, I'd probably have to make some more adjustments to the drop, maybe adjust the lead some more. But listen, nonetheless, successful studio time with Ryos because I had fun, made some new stuff, learned something new, and I hope you guys enjoyed the process of all that as well. So that'll be all for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. Benji, raise your paw. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload. If you guys have any requests on what you'd like to see in the next episode of Studio Time with Ryos or a challenge video, be sure to drop them down below. And yeah, that'll be all for me today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.